I guess I could have said that while we were live. Who cares, right? Yeah. So anyway. Oh, sure. We got nothing but like endless conversation here for the last 15 minutes. And the moment I hit the button, we all right. We're going to stumble. So, yeah.
All right. Game on. Let's go. What do you want to talk about?
Anyway. Yeah.
How's it going, everybody?
Well, I'm really shy in these situations, so sometimes.
Okay, Chad. Okay, yeah, easy there, Fireball. Nobody's believing your shit, right? Yeah, we invented the buzzer because of you. Okay, that's it. Just fucking with you.
That's one thing you're not allowed to say, because I already know. Because if you're serious, I wouldn't be here. Nobody's allowed to say "just kidding," or it takes the fun out of all of it.
Right. I still I spend a lot of my day saying "just kidding." It's probably I don't
give a fuck.
Jeez, right? Yeah. It's like it's too soon. It's like, is that a thing? Is too soon a thing? Right? Sorry, Boston. What was that?
I said you can say anything you fucking want if you put LOL after it.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely.
I'm gonna unalive you, LOL.
Your mother smells real bad, LOL.
LOL.
If you're taking a mother joke seriously, then you probably should just get away from me anyway. I'm not even gonna try with the LOL on that. Right? Like we're not gonna be friends. This isn't gonna work out.
On Amazon.com, LOL.
I just think if I'm at a point where I got to say "just kidding," we're not good enough friends to even be having the conversation.
Right. True story. Hey guys, we got some people dropping in. We're just waiting for Jared to come on before we actually do the intro and all that stuff. Drop who you are, where you're from, sober dates, all the things. You know what to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, the shadow people in the two seats, right?
I'm guessing we got two people in on the blacklist. I'm guessing one of them or both of them are Jared and Brianna. I'm guessing. Right.
Well, it was weird. They were talking about
on the way back here from work right now, and Brianna's like, Chuck's going to say something stupid. I know he is. So she's.
So I just found it weird. They were talking about like flat Earth, and then guys in suits came in and they were gone. It was weird, man.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Flat Earthers don't even get me.
Firmament, man. The firmament.
Did I ever tell you my theory on conspiracies? I'll say it before Jared gets back, because he'll give it that judgy look. Conspiracies are not true because of blowjobs. Bill Clinton, the most powerful man in the Western world, couldn't keep a blowjob secret. So you're going to tell me that 9/11 and COVID and whatever, the moon landing and the hundreds of people it would take to keep these things secret happened? I don't think so, Tim.
The moon landing was blue dress. That's all I know.
Right? You couldn't keep a blowjob secret, right? And just ask two guys in jail how many people can keep a secret. Right? No, we're not good at it as a society. It's not a thing we do, right? As a race, we're not good at it. Never mind, not as a race, as a species, we're not. It's just not. We don't keep secrets well, folks. Come on. Right?
No, we don't.
No. So at the end of the day, blowjobs. It's completely oversimplifying it, but let's be honest. His presidency he lost the U.S. presidency, the most coveted political position in the entire world, over a blowjob. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, that was some incentive to keep that secret. You couldn't do it. So.
Oh shit. Well, that's a great theory, but I have questions.
Oh my. Hey, who's jumping in here, guys? Say hello. We see that you're in there. You're making it weird by not saying something. Drop us, let us know where you're from. There we go. Oh, hey, here's Haley. We love Haley. Yes,
there's Haley.
Why did I just log in with Chuck talking about BJ's? Haha, Ash sauce. Oh, there you go. Right. Well, because Haley, that's where we are. That's what's going on. You know how it is. You've been on here before. Right. She's played along on Games Night too. Right.
What Games Night? I want to know about Games Night.
Games Night. So the first one I did was with Jamie Tall and Sonia Johnson. Just had an absolute riot.
That last one was wild, Chuck.
Wasn't it though? Wasn't it? Right? Haley was in for that one too. Oh, it looks like Jen Brianna coming back. We do like Never Have I Ever. There's a couple like those type of games, right?
Okay.
like card games that you can play online, right? So long as
Dude, it got absolutely gross, Chuck. It was like, would you rather sleep with your sister, or eat a shit sandwich, like stuff like
yeah, it was just horrible, right?
Whoa,
right.
I just
Jared was
fucking-
talking about his buddy wanting to smell his feet while he jerked off.
Yeah.
I just came in on the wrong fucking one.
yeah.
Holy shit.
Jared, what kind of socks do you have on right now?
Well,
Are they wool by any chance?
no, they're the standard, you know.
Can I see them again?
The standard. Yeah. Ready? Oh. Now who's gonna suck on my toe?
Chad reflexed up with the hands up. Right.
Did I do that? Oops. I forgot we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
And we're live.
Coming to you live.
Haley.
Foot fetish.
Haley, I was on it and still mortified by Jared's friend with the foot thing.
Right? No kidding. Hey, no kidding. You are a broad of yours. Team Jesus John 6. Okay, what do we got here?
Study the Puritan. You are a brood of vipers.
We're a brood of vipers. I think that's what he was going for. Brood of vipers.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I'm
brood
sorry
of vipers.
if you don't
He's so
enjoy our
angry,
sense of
his
humor.
fingers
That's
were
okay.
quaking as he typed it.
Yes.
So, what's going on, everybody?
Oh, you missed it. It's almost over.
Dude, that's fine. That means I can go to sleep now. Cool.
Get it snoozing.
What, baby?
What was I doing?
Brianna would be okay with it.
Share in
Can I what?
Messenger to.
Oh yeah. Hold on. I gotta climb back here. You guys are about to see my ass real quick.
Okay.
No, we'd rather
wait
see
for it all night, right? Absolutely.
All this flirting with the feet and the ass. Come on, man.
Right.
What's going on around here? What have I signed on to? I mean, Thailand was one thing. Now we're getting into a whole other thing. Like, what's up? What's going on around here?
Oh my.
Brianna's right here, Haley. She just walked in the picture.
Freaking frack is
You already got people asking about you.
Sure. Our toxic masculinity is a little much. So
what about toxic masturbation?
Wow, comes in swinging. My mother's watching this. You guys are all going to hell. I just want
sorry,
this
sorry, Mama LaFlange.
My mom's not watching. She never watches.
Okay.
Sorry, Chuck's mom.
Well, you know what? I better watch because her daughter could be watching this.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, that's right too.
I remember when she came to us. It's like, yeah, I was watching and we were talking about some crazy ass thing, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, here goes, right?
Yeah. So here we are, dude. I don't even know what episode this one is. We're going on like 2.5, 3 months now, whatever.
It's February 17th episode. Let's just
exactly.
16th for us. Yeah.
Oh, it's March 23rd or something.
Yeah.
The camera adds 4 months.
So, anyways, what's going on? What's going on, Boston?
Nothing much. Let's talk about meth, baby.
Oh. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about meth.
Oh.
So something that I do not relate on because I've never touched meth a day in my life. So.
Well, you're a blessed man.
Yeah.
I wish I had never touched meth.
Even though people think that I have, like, well, no, I'm saying so. Unfortunately, genetically, my on my mom's side, my family's got bad teeth, unfortunately, and so mine broke. A lot of mine broke, and this and that. So everyone thinks that I'm fucking some meth head, and I'm like, I ain't never touched meth a day in my life.
You're lucky your friend that wanted to smell your feet wasn't on it. That would have been the issue.
And
I wouldn't doubt if he would masturbate while smelling my feet. I would not doubt that.
Well, that's where that was leading, right? That entire conversation. That's where that was going, buddy. Right?
That's what Jared falls asleep to thinking about.
The confessional right there.
Well, I mean, if you would do it for me.
Going up, Brianna, we've already been called a brood of vipers today. So
Yes.
yeah, that happened.
Clearly,
This
people
is
aren't
really
digging
good.
on us.
Guava.
This is really good. Yo, we're gonna plug this this circle water bottle, which is really, really cool because you buy the big water bottle and then you get like refills that spin in here and they're flavored and whatnot. You could change the intensity on how strong the flavor is. Really
Why are
fuck.
we plugging this? Is it a sponsor deal? I don't know.
Well, it could be
Well,
because
so it's $8 to start, and if you use my link, I get 2 free.
that is
flavors.
true. That
okay,
is
well, that's
true.
fair. That's fair.
No, but
Okay.
I really just because I drank it right now
I
and I
buy
was
the-
like, well, it's in
I
my
buy the
hand.
bigger water bottles though, because the regular one that comes with it, a fucking 3 sips and it's gone.
Can you get that on Amazon by any chance?
I would. They're really inexpensive. It's only 2. So this is how the flavors are,
Yeah.
Here we
and
are.
it's only $2.50 for that.
It's like a pregnancy
I
test.
was just
You can
thinking
get them in Walmart. I know that.
you can also get
You can get
Fire
those in Walmart,
Meth
too.
Bible on Amazon. Done. Well,
There you go, Boston. There's your plug. There's your plug.
just
There's your plug for the rest of the show.
yeah.
All right.
I have a membership where I get a bunch of flavors, and they just get mailed to me, and
There you go. And you got a link for that, Brianna?
I do.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
is
Okay.
what I
Well, are
got.
we gonna
Why
drop
don't
that in the
you
comments
type
there,
it?
Jared?
Drop.
Yeah.
Give me the link and I'll drop it
This
in there.
month, the one we just tried, they're like doing ones from different like areas. So this is a, how do you say that? Sabrosita?
That is a sabrecita guava.
Oh,
Tried
okay.
that one, and I got blueberry tea. But this one likes to drink it all on me.
I do.
I didn't know this was like a Dora episode.
I'll sneak it in the middle. I'll sneak it in the middle of the night. Listen,
Or
And he likes
Diego.
more flavor than I
Do
do,
you-
so it's gone so
Chuck,
quick.
are you feeling left out? Do you want to plug your gay T-shirt? Come on, we're plugging stuff already. Might as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not at least not the plugs you're looking for. All right. All right.
The ones that we're looking for have diamonds on the back of them.
Whatever suits you, whatever's your thing, bro. And a tail, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, why don't we
Scary.
let's hop into this? Why don't we
Yeah,
hop
let's do
into
that.
Hold on,
this?
Let's do
let
that.
me-
Let's do
let
something
me-
more wholesome.
Chuck and Chad, I want to apologize to you guys for taking off like that last week.
Oh, stop this.
So
You did the
Oh,
right
yeah.
thing.
it was.
I feel
Oh,
like
Chad,
you
you
did.
were on last week.
I don't
forgot.
know what's been going on. I've been having full on anxiety attacks lately, and they've been.
LOC.
Well, you're
What?
you're in here with a brood of
Acute
vipers. That'd be pretty
LOC.
nervous.
Yep.
A brood of vipers.
So
Lack of LOC. I got you.
I advocate for myself. So I am getting a new prescriber as of March 11th, and hopefully she listens to me
Yeah.
because my antidepressant isn't working. The last time I increased my dosage on my antidepressant, I turned suicidal. She has
Ooh.
not changed my antidepressant. She put me on an antipsychotic because, that's going to fucking stabilize everything because my antidepressant doesn't work anymore. So I'm
Oh,
hoping this new prescriber will listen to me. And I've also been thinking about tapering off of my mental health meds
Okay.
and going off them completely because about 3 months after I got off Suboxone, I went on the mental health meds.
Yeah.
And I've
you
been
need to talk to your
reading-
prescriber about that, though, right?
Yeah.
Don't Google doctor shit.
Pray for
Well,
me.
no.
Talk to
I'm
your
definitely going to
prescriber,
talk to her.
right?
I'm going
Yeah,
to talk to
okay.
her about it and talk to her about the reasons why. Because, like I said, 3 months after I got off Suboxone, I went on mental health meds. Some people only need those, like antidepressants and stuff like that, for a
Yeah.
little while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
because,
and
like,
that's fair. That's fair,
yeah,
right? Yeah. So just
simple
make sure you're
things I
talking.
used to be able to do with no problem give me anxiety attacks now.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You know,
Can
and
I
that's
share
not
something
okay.
with
I
you,
can't
Brianna?
function. Yes, Chad.
I did the same thing in the same order at one point in my
Yeah.
recovery. So like years ago, I took Suboxone to get off of, obviously for whatever reason. And with that being said, it was shortly after that they put me on, I forget which one it was, but it was an antipsychotic, right?
Mhm.
And I noticed what was going on was it was gradual, right? It was like, it wasn't
What was
like one
gradual?
day. Well, yeah, like my moods had changed, and then I started doing like I started becoming very zombie-like. But when I would go out, and I'm not saying yours will be the same, I'm just saying from experience, like just be mindful and be aware, right? Because I don't know how long you've been on them or what's going on, but like eventually, I feel like for me, what happened was eventually I just ended up, making very rash decisions and getting very aggressive and very like, and I wasn't doing anything else with them, right? And then like an idiot, instead of talking to my doctor, I just stopped. And what I found out you're supposed to do is start taking them every other day and then every 2 days, and you know what I mean?
See,
Because you stop, it'll really take a big effect on you.
do you want to know what's crazy? I have been off this week, and this morning I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yo, bitch, what? Like, why have you been so weird this week? I haven't been taking my antipsychotic at night.
Oh,
Now, I did take it Tuesday night. Wednesday, I was up. I had fucking energy. I was doing stuff. So, like, these are all things I love education and I love knowing. So, it's never anything that I would stop on my own because even a couple hours without it and I feel it.
right.
Yeah, right.
I
You
would
know,
aggressive behavior was my problem because I remember I was on those antipsychotics in the institution. I started talking like fucking Sling Blade in there. I couldn't even.
Ain't got no gas.
My don't work.
so
And
yeah,
I walked in there and I convinced the guy. I was like, "Look, I'm not doing this though. I have to."
yeah.
I am aware that a lot of people do need medication. Like I'm aware of chemical imbalances, recovery or no recovery. I'm aware that that stuff happens, and there are
Oh,
stuff that
absolutely.
there are things that need to happen in that regard. What I always am afraid of is just, and I mean, I imagine it goes from situation to situation, is how fast or quick to give them out.
Well,
And
yeah,
that's
they
my
had
only
me
concern,
9.
right?
They had me on 9 at one time. I think it was a little overkill. Like they get paid big bucks in there to write scripts. So I'm like, there's no way. And then they put me on like Cogentin to counteract the side effects from the pill. So they wrote another script, you see?
Wow.
And that's the
Crazy.
thing. So I went on Prozac first. That turned me into a zombie, Chad. So I know what you mean. Like I was straight, like you weren't getting nothing out of me.
See, there's a very different experience from Canada to the US that way.
Yeah.
Doctors and institutions, there is no kickbacks from pharmaceuticals. That's not the way it works here. Like it's a very, very different system, right? I mean, I'm sure there's some backdoor stuff that happens, but as a rule, like systemically, there is no incentives like that, right? It's a public healthcare system. So it's a very different animal, right? When you talk about things like I'm trying to imagine here, there's just no reason for a doctor to prescribe 9 different things and then 10. I mean, unless there is a reason, right? But at least you don't have to question their motives that way. You can say you're prescribing too much, all those things, but at least you don't have to wonder if it's because Bayer or whatever is giving you a kickback.
Dude, I do a lot of shows with this guy named Dr. Jerry Marzinski. He hooked me up with shows over in Europe and everything. And he was a doctor in the institutions and in prisons. And he says that when the long term, like people that have been there for like 15, 20 years, they're taking those pills like on the regular, they do an autopsy and their brain's the size of a walnut. I read his book. It was crazy, man. Like, so that scared the shit out of me.
Wow.
Well,
They're just like adding more meds to like counteract side effects. Like when we increased my antidepressant and it turned me psychotic or suicidal, they added the antipsychotic. And I asked my doctor, I said, okay, well, what happens when I have to increase my antidepressant? Well, hopefully the antipsychotic's working. And when we increase it, you won't turn suicidal again.
wow.
I'm kidding. Hey.
And she hasn't listened to me. And it's just like, you know what? But like I said, like I went straight from the Suboxone to mental health meds. And who knows? Like maybe I've been on drugs my whole life.
Right.
Maybe tapering off, I might be better without them.
Yeah. And at this point, you don't know. Like you've been so intoxicated by everything for how long? And now all of a sudden you're struggling going through the feels. So hey, well, don't go through the feels here? Let's mask it. Let's cover it up.
Well, regular things, just like leaving my house. Every single time I go to leave my house, as soon as I put my shoes on, I'm puking.
Oh wow.
I'm stressed.
But do you want to know the scary thing about her, which she didn't tell me this until after the fact, when she was becoming suicidal, was she would tell me that we would be riding down the fucking freeway going 100 plus miles an hour on the motorcycle, and then she would want to think about headbutting me in the back of my head just to see if I could maintain control of the bike. And those are the thoughts that was going through her head. So
I walked in front of vehicles.
Like,
I walked to work in the middle of the road, and I didn't give a shit. And I didn't know why. I didn't understand why all of a sudden I'm feeling this way. Nothing was wrong, but I advocate for myself and I talk. And I was calling my doctor regularly, calling my therapist regularly. And I mean, the other medicine worked, but who knows if I even need them, because now I'm having full on anxiety and panic attacks 2 to 3 times a week.
That's scary. Hey, listen, guys.
Hey.
Guys, if you're in the comments, drop where you're from. Give us some sober dates. Jared,
Yes.
can you hit the intro, please? Sorry to cut you off, Brianna. I just want to
You're
make sure
fine.
that we
Yeah.
get that done.
Yo,
I probably got us totally off topic too. Sorry. It just
No,
Before-
but I
hey,
think it's great that you knew
had a
enough to
conversation.
get up and remove
Yeah.
yourself.
before we
Absolutely.
roll this intro, Chuck, we didn't tell them about the buzzer thing.
I told them about the buzzer
Okay.
thing.
Do you want to do, instead of 60 seconds, do you want to do
Yeah.
2 minutes?
Let's do okay. Well, let's try 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
That's a lot.
All
Of
right.
time. No, let's. Okay, you
minute.
get a warning at a minute, and then it's up to you to cut
Okay.
yourself off.
So
How's
Brianna
that?
doesn't know, but
How's
what we're doing is to keep with as many people as we have, to keep everybody talking equally. When a minute comes, I'm going to hit one of these little buzzer things, and that's your warning to wrap it up. So one person's not talking forever. So
When you're in a room full of
Chad.
talkers.
yeah. Hey, what intro should I
Whatever
run?
you mean.
You know what? Let's just stick with the one we've been doing, bro. I think that's it's a good tribute.
Okay.
And I'm always worried that Mama Van's watching and we don't. Run it.
Yeah.
So right.
All right.
You know, yeah.
Let's
do
run
that.
it. Such a powerful intro every single time.
Every time.
Every time. Man.
Every time. Right.
So today we were supposed to have another guest, but Nikki wasn't able to. She was sick. So we had Mr. Chad
Step up and
step
step
up.
in.
and step in. So we had him on last week, right? It was last week, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Okay.
It was. Yeah.
We had him on last week, and then now he comes back, and of course we got Mr. Boston 2%. He's got the Meth Bible behind him. We got the Meth Bible behind us. So
Thank you so much.
Why
that's
don't you
the
bring
plug.
that up for a screenshot? Why don't you bring that in a little bit closer?
Yeah, Boston, grab it.
Yeah. Show us the book. Show us the book.
Boom.
Yeah.
Trigger warning. Fire Night
Yes.
Bibles on Amazon.com. You can get the audiobook free right now. If you've never had Audible before, and you can read it for free on the Kindle version if you got Amazon Prime.
There you go.
All right.
There you go. Yeah.
And I bought his book because creators supporting creators.
Thank you. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
I will be 1,000% honest with you, boss, and I haven't even opened it yet.
Yeah.
I put the laptop on it to pull the camera up. Listen, I'm being honest,
That's okay.
Chad's over there.
but I have it,
That's
you know. And you
That's
know
okay.
what? Like I was saying before, my fucking shit's all over the place, but when it's going to happen one day, and like you said, I will sit down and read it front to back in one
But
sitting.
I'll give you a quick synopsis. It's like Die Hard, and Harry Potter had a meth baby with 50 Shades of Grey. That's basically the story.
Wow, that escalated quickly. Wow.
So just so
right.
you know, this is gonna be our buzzer because I don't have a technical buzzer. If I do that, that's your warning
Was that little
I fucking love it.
to wrap it up. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, hey, I have a question. Off topic again.
Um,
If I can distract everybody all the time.
ask the question.
Chuck, how's Sonny doing?
Sonny is rocking it. He's loving
Yeah.
life.
Is
Yeah,
that
he's-
you got your little everything all fixed and you can go further and stuff like that? I bet it's been
Yeah.
nice
There's
for you two to wander.
the bike is not without issues still, unfortunately. That is just the reality. There's a belt thing, but I can go as far as I want to. My friend Mike at the Auto Treatment Center he has a film background. He worked for TSN for years, and he's got a couple like high-end drones, like the good ones, like 5 mile, distance on them, 50 meters in the air, right? And it just went from imperial to metric there, or anyway, they're like the good ones. So we just shot some really great footage, and I just put out a video earlier today or yesterday, depending on what part of the world you're in, with some of that footage on the Sunny in a Sidecar Facebook page. So there's my plug, my shameless plug. If you guys want to check out some adventures of Sunny and I in a sidecar cruising around Thailand, it's all up there. So
So Boston plugged the Bible. You plugged Sonny in a sidecar.
I was gonna say Chad. Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask Chad if he has any shows or anything coming up. You want to plug something?
Real
I
quick.
got this thing coming up in June. It's called Sober Palooza, and it's a bunch of like sober bands getting together at the biggest venue here in my city called the Biltmore. It's June 22nd. It's a ways away, but we're working with a new drummer, so we haven't confirmed or whether or not we're going to try the show out and see how he feels, and hopefully he works out with us. And so that's the thing we got coming up musically. So
nice.
Right.
And your
Yeah,
band
yeah,
and your band page, of course, right?
yes, Valyear
Valyear.
Band, anywhere on social media. Valyear, Chatty V, Chad Valyear, all of it. You'll find all my music there.
I've been checking out
Spotify, Apple.
I've been trying to find something to run with a Sunny in a Sidecar reel, and I just like it's not really that type of music, right? I'll find the right thing. But
I just picture Chuck riding a Vespa with a katana blade on his back, listening to One Night in Bangkok. That's my vision of what you do over there. But I don't know.
It's the Vespa image is not that far off because that's what they are, the scooters, right? They call them motorbikes here. They're scooters. Like scooters, to be honest, right? It's 110 cc. Or the one I'm driving is 100 cc, I guess. Yeah. But,
yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna plug ours real quick now.
Hell yeah.
Episode 42 with UFC fighter Lyman Good dropped tonight. Well, it dropped a few hours ago. It's on all streaming platforms. I did talk to my dad, Mr. LaFlange, earlier and got permission to play this reel, this promotional reel.
You don't need permission, bro. You don't need permission.
Yeah, we did together. Anyways, but
Let's do the thing.
I didn't think about you being his dad for a second. That's why I looked at him. I'm like, you talked to your
We got some recovery royalty in the house. Jamie Tall.
Great.
Yes.
So,
Jamie.
anyways, go watch it. But this is like 60 seconds long, so I'm gonna run it and then we'll hop into our deal.
All right.
Okay. All right. Oh, and this is a 9x16, so it's gonna go right into the middle of the freaking screen, just so you know.
Yeah.
I had a moment where my lowest point for me was almost taking my own life. I went out to Pennsylvania, rented out a cabin there. Long story short, I took my firearm with me, and I remember sitting there bedside, and I had my gun next to the Bible, staring at it, not knowing what I was thinking, but I just remember staring at it. I just find myself with part of the cold muzzle to the side of my temple. It's racked, and I have my trigger finger tense. I remember I wanted to feel control, and I never felt more control in my life than having felt my finger on that trigger. I went as far as riding the wall on that trigger. And, I think that was going through my head at that point. By that point, I was ready to do a lot of drinking like crazy. Like, I've never drank like that my entire life. I couldn't do that to her. My other sister, she's battling cancer. I was thinking of her. My other one is battling some issues of her own as well. And I couldn't do that to her either. I had a moment where I just said, you know what? I don't even deserve to die. I deserve to live so I could punish myself slow. So I did. I never thought about taking my life again.
Wow.
So that's live on all platforms. Funny fact about that's real 60 seconds long. And that conversation, that specific portion was about 5 minutes long. So I had to cut as much as I could out of 5 minutes to make that. Anyways, it's on all platforms. Go support it. And now we are getting into our main event.
Can I plug myself?
Yeah, plug yourself.
What do you, half an hour in.
It's okay. This is how we do it, though, Chuck. This is how we do it. Do it.
Starting this Sunday will probably be 2 p.m. Me and a friend of mine are going to start Mom Talks on Sundays.
Okay.
You don't have to be a mom to join us, but we're going to sit around and say fuck them kids and fuck those men and just
but also,
just shoot the shit and unwind from our week. Some of us don't get that support, and it's just kind of going to be our mental health break.
And it's also being
on that
in recovery.
Yeah. Yep. So this Sunday at 2:00 is going to be our first Mom Talk.
Awesome.
They'll be live, so that's all hers. All right, Chuck, why don't you lead us into whatever the hell we're doing?
Well, I guess we're doing what we're doing. I mean, you've got some former meth heads here. Everybody but Jared and Brianna, I guess, right, is done our dance with it. My personal experience has been different. So, well, I guess all of our experiences have been very different. For me, meth represented the last few months of active addiction for me, maybe 4 months. And then thankfully, I won't say thankfully to that. At around that time, my father passed, and that was the catalyst it took for me to sober up. Right. So it was then before it really got its hooks into me. The way that, I had been for years with coke and crack and that type of thing. So my experience with meth was very different than it sounds like. Definitely yours, Boston, and yours too, Chad. Right. So, but we said we were going to talk about meth today. So I guess,
I was getting ready to hit your buzzer too.
Let's talk about meth B.
So again, just so you guys know, just please, we're all trying to get as much in it for everybody. So
you have to share today.
But just try to be mindful on the time on how much everyone's sharing.
Yeah, right.
Because if not, that's what's happening.
What? I can love that sound.
Okay.
Okay. What?
Really,
there you go.
Really clean flavor.
Okay. Yeah.
Who wants to go first, Chad or Boston?
Oh, here goes.
We're
gonna have a comedian standoff.
Yeah. Deal there.
Go ahead, Boston.
All right.
There we go. Okay. Yeah.
So what do you want to know?
Well, you got some shit to say about meth. I mean, okay, so why do you write your book? Yeah, and we're not here to plug the book, but that's a huge part of your experience. Is the reason that you wrote the book.
Right.
So what about your experience with meth got you into writing a book?
What happened to me? I was an alcoholic. I did drug. I mean, I started off, with the meth pills, like the Adderalls and the Ritalins when I was in high school. That was like my first taste of it, right? In a taste test, it's Coke and Pepsi. Yeah. Later on, I got beaten a couple bad business deals, lost the family. I was a complete drunk. And then I started getting in. I went on a 2-year-long suicide mission in the underworld of crystal methamphetamine in Corpus Christi, Texas. And it was one hell of a ride. And the roads to hell were covered in ice, man. It was crazy. And my experience was a supernatural experience in the meth game. And that's why the book is so popular, man. It's like, that's where, I met the devil, and that's where God came to rescue me. He met me right where I was at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and it details a lot too. My story is like meth and sex addiction and pornography addiction. I mean, it all goes hand in hand, and it's a wild place to be. The meth lifestyle is one of the craziest life a person can live. 100%. And, it's a life of crime. It's 24/7. You don't sleep, and there's always somewhere to go, man.
Yeah. Chad, your initial thoughts on it?
Well, meth for me, it was really like it was the quickest downfall of my life. Like I had done cocaine for almost 20 years, almost every day, and I did meth for 8 months and ended up in rehab, and it was just a night and day world. Like I mean, and I don't want to say there's a whole lot of honor among thieves, but when I got into the meth world, the people were dark as fuck.
Yeah.
And not only that, like, and I shared this on the last episode we did. Meth was such a shitty, dirty, filthy drug, and it took away any kind of moral compass really fast. And I remember a guy that I used to do business with, and he got pinched with an ounce of coke, an ounce of crack, and an ounce of heroin, and an ounce of meth. And when he got out in an hour on bail, and within an hour, we were all lining up at his house to get more dope. We wanted the meth, right? Nobody cared. Like, how did he get out in an hour? Let's start there. And the fact that he got out in an hour tells me the kind of person he was. And none of us cared. We just wanted the dope.
And I'll tell you, one of the things that blew me away about meth was the lack of a ceiling. So like Coke, for 30 years, really hasn't changed in price, right? At a retail level. It's been about the same around in North America, give or take. Like it really hasn't changed. It's about $1 a gram, right? Or $1 a point, like $100 a gram, give or take. Yeah. It hasn't really changed in like 30 years. Meth has no ceiling. I watched meth go from and price and everything's different in different cities and all that. But like just to keep things in ratio here or whatever, I'd watch it go from 300 an ounce to 600 an ounce back to 400 an ounce in a day. It's the craziest fluctuating commodity on the planet. And it's because there is no ceiling. There is no ceiling because of the power of that drug. Right. And that's what it is. So when people, it never got me high. And that's why it wasn't, like not the same way other drugs did. But for many, many people,
I want to chime in just on the poisonous roots of meth. Where did it start? Where did it begin? Because it's a mind-blowing story, really. And it was invented by the Japanese, like 20s, 30s area, right? And then Hitler started using it. And he starts using, his doctor's giving him injections of a drug called Pervitin, which is amphetamine, right? And he's giving it to him as a vitamin shot. He starts becoming an obsessive meth addict. And then he gets the whole, like the military's on it for a pet pill. He starts to get the whole entire country on the drug as a pet pill to entice the workforce to work like ravenously hard and long hours. And then they commission a chocolate factory. Now every man, woman, and child in the whole country's on it. This is all in a book called Blitzed. It's all historically accurate. He becomes obsessed with finding the spear that pierces the side of Jesus Christ. I mean, there's a huge spiritual side to meth when you take it to that level. Huge.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Super evil. And then the greatest atrocities on planet Earth happened. I mean, in wartime crimes, it was.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to take that shit seriously. Listen, in all fairness, this wasn't my decision. Chuck called me and was like, yo, so what do you think about this?
Just under the bus, hey? Just solid as a soup sandwich. Look at this guy, right?
No, that'd be Oshawa.
I gotta give
you guys kind of blamed me. Nobody would have been mad.
No, but then it's like I feel like an asshole doing it, but then it's like I know we have to respect everybody.
No, it is fair, but it's a reminder, right? That's all. It's not a hey, you have to stop.
It's not
right
saying
now.
shut the fuck up right now, but it's a reminder. Hey,
that's awesome.
Times
I've heard bits and pieces of that history, Boston. That's interesting, eh? Like, me being me, like I'm going to go fact check all that stuff, but it sounds like you've done a lot of your own homework. But I still have to because I'm just like that, right? Like I just, you know what I mean, right? But,
where do you think the idea for Raiders of the Lost Ark came from? They based it on that story.
Really, eh?
Yeah, crazy. Real life is stranger than fiction, man.
Yeah. Well, there's that, right? Yeah.
Sorry, Chuck, did you say you didn't get high on meth? Like it didn't work that way?
I could smoke a fucking an 8-ball, a game, whatever you want to call it, and not even know I used it. It was nuts. It wasn't until I put a needle in my arm for the first time, and that was the only thing I've ever done is that, and it was like, oh, I'm home now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was like, yep, this is what I need in my life, right? So
can you guys, former meth heads, answer a question for me? what is up with meth and fucking coloring? What's up with that?
Listen, if you would have,
I don't know. I never got it. That wasn't my thing.
No,
The adult coloring books. Yeah.
Coloring books and meth. Like what is up with that?
People have different tweaks. It's
Dude, like that's the biggest thing that I've seen.
We called it a flail, but same thing, boss. It's the same thing for us. Yeah.
I mean, it was just it's meth, porn, and freaking coloring books. And
well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I mean, I used to work. I used to work, you know, for the medical examiner moving bodies. Unfortunately, and so we would go to a lot of overdoses, and you could tell when they were on their meth related, because you walk in and they got a porno playing and they got freaking coloring books everywhere. Like,
sounds accurate.
I was just curious. I was just curious about that. Like, what drives when you take meth to be able to?
It's the same thing that drives people to take apart, like to fix everything till it's broken. Right,
yeah.
Like there's, you know, like that's a
or
famous,
to vacuum you vacuum your grass.
It makes you obsessed. You're
To me,
obsessed.
Jordan, to me, it just sounded like you were describing my house every day.
Right. And obsessed. That's you're right. Just dial in on something and obsess over it. That makes sense to me. But one of the things,
the
paranoia with meth. The best I could describe it, and this is before I started using it religiously, just observing people around me. It's like, it's making you see connections where there is not connections. Right. And so it's just, and there's nothing you can say to somebody that's experiencing that psychosis. It's like, you know, no, you're going to see that those 3 people all picked up their phone at the same time as that bike drove by. And the plane was there too. And that's where my dope went. Right.
that fucking anteater came and ate that shit and took it back to his underground lair.
Right. There's just, you can't possibly convince somebody out of that psychosis. It's something I never experienced. I don't feel like I was ever in psychosis, not once.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
I was hardcore, and I remember because, again, I think I shared this last week too. The way I was doing meth was the way most people do cocaine. And I was doing like baby finger size rails, all like the way I would do coke, consistently, constantly. And it got to a point where I would just get in that psychosis, like you said, and I would just sit there with my door locked, my TV down. I wouldn't move. I wouldn't answer my phone. And, you know, and he'd just sit there. And you know, like I said, it was fun for the first few minutes, the first little while. And then the party would sort of, you know, trail off and it would start slowing down. And then by the end of it, I'm by myself for 4 days, sitting on the edge of my couch like this, afraid to make a noise because I don't want anybody to hear me and come in my apartment. And the cops now are going to come in and kick my windows in for the $0.5 gram on my table. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
Right.
It's crazy
Awesome.
too, like you say, the paranoia. Like paranoia comes with everything. It's just the different levels of it. Like, you know, there's people that like smoke weed and that get paranoid.
Oh, I can't smoke weed.
You know, but it's just like
I put my couch in front of the door and
fentanyl, meth, heroin, Xannies. Like, you got all this shit all laid out. Everybody's doing something different. And somebody's like, anyone want to smoke a joint? It's like, no, man, I can't do that shit.
Yeah.
Too much for me, man. Fuck that shit.
Fuck that. That's
Toss the meth. Toss the meth.
Right?
Fuck
that's
that.
where I draw the line.
Oh, fuck that, man.
What is this, leaving Las Vegas? I don't want that fucking weed.
Right back country. No, I ate an edible and it was like, so I was coming down off of, I think it was meth. It was either meth or coke at that time. And I ate an edible and it did nothing to me. And the person who gave it to me said, okay, well, try this one. And she gave me the highest one that you can get with the highest level of THC. And I ate it and I was sitting there and all of a sudden I was done. Like I wanted to kill myself. This is fuck. What is going on in my fucking head right now? And it was fucking THC. It fucked me up worse than
crazy, right?
I remember we used to smoke that shit before our ride came so that we could smoke another one on the way to work, right? Like it was just like, what the fuck happened, you know? Yeah.
I can shoot 100 cc's of maple syrup, and then if I take one down, I'm destroyed. It's like that math ain't mathing.
I've never heard anybody like every single bad edible story has always started with I took one, it didn't work, so I took another.
Hey,
Right?
It's never been
Right?
I took one and that was
So-
horrible. It's
Yeah.
always been I took another and it was
Okay.
When you want to take, I always say the same thing. When you want to take another one, fucking don't.
Wait, yeah, yep.
It's gonna like in 20 minutes, it's about to work, and you're gonna really regret that second one. At that point,
Uh-huh.
at that point, you're gonna be ready for the second one to come, and you're gonna be terrified. Like, that's not okay.
My edible story, which ended at calling me calling 911, was because it was Christmas. I don't know how long ago. It was on Christmas, and my sister gave me she gave me a whole one, and she goes, "Listen, take half of it since you've never taken it, and then take and see." So like I took it, an hour and a half goes by, I feel nothing. So then I took the other half, and when I took the other half, the first half kicked in. So by the time the second half kicked in, I was like out of body. I couldn't drive. Long story short, I ended up calling 911 just to talk to the operator, just to and she goes, "Do you need an ambulance?" I'm like, "No, I just took too many edibles and I just need someone to talk to." Like it.
Oh my god.
My family will not let me live that down.
I'm never gonna let you live that.
Listen, I have never done an edible since then, and it's probably been a good 7-8 years. So
Listen, it's funny though. When I worked overnights at my job, there was some bad edibles going around here, and within a week, in the middle of the fucking night, in a week, 3 different times, I had people running into the store telling me they were dying, and I had to call them an ambulance. There's one guy inside, he's like, "I'm having a heart attack," and he's doing fucking jumping jacks around the store and running and inside and outside and taking his shirt off, and I'm like, "Yo, chill. Like, drink some fucking water and sit down. I can't. I'm dying." And I'm like, "All right, let me call the fucking ambulance for you."
They're acting like a Euro trip when they're in there and they think they're eating the hash brownies and they're freaking out, and it turns out they were just regular brownies.
Frank the
They're
Tank.
Chuck, you used to shoot it, right?
Yes, I did.
At one time.
Yeah. That was the last
You
drug I
ever
did.
had the most shameful experience of boofing, Chuck? Is what I want to know.
What's a boof?
You've
your
never
ass.
heard of boofing, Chuck?
Oh, I might have. It might be called something different.
Look at
Yeah.
Fire and Ice, the Meth Bible.
You would know if you boofed.
Boofing and Jesus Christ in the same page. Okay, boofing
Okay.
is when you're jabbing yourself for like 3 hours with the needle, and you're so dehydrated you can't find vein. You're covered in blood, and then you
So you
clip
break
the
it off and
needle off, and it goes.
I've heard it doing it. I've never actually done it though.
I thought boofing was shoving it up your ass.
That
literally.
is.
It is. You
Dude,
break the
it's
tip off and then
poison. Your body recognizes it right away and tries to expel it. So you'll be sitting there laying on your stomach so you don't waste it. How disgusting is that?
Like your ass in the air.
Yes.
face down, ass up.
Hey, Chad, you want to give us a demonstration on the position?
Yeah.
Hit the buzzer.
Yeah, right. Somebody stop him. Somebody stop him.
Now, I've never boofed,
Once
but
the camera, once we're off live, I'll do whatever you want.
I'll step away first, though,
Wow.
and then you guys can do whatever you want.
I mean, my experience, I was a meth addicted cab driver. So the stories are absolutely wild, you can imagine. So it's like you're in the taxi from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. Then you jump in your personal car and you're working all day, literally behind the wheel of a car, picking up the lost souls of the city. I mean, just the dregs. I mean, money printers, check cashers, professional boosters, pimps, prostitutes, and the big one is dealers. If drug dealers owned cars, I wouldn't have been able to support my drug habit.
Yeah, right.
That's the meth game in a nutshell.
Isn't that horrible? Have you ever noticed that most drug dealers don't have fucking cars?
Of course
They're
not.
getting rides from other people or a ride from you and stuff like that. Like, how?
Well, they're getting rides. I mean, they're trading the dope for another kind of ride, and that's the problem. Why
don't you
I'm
get
the
your own car and you ain't got to trade anything?
They make plenty of money. Might as well get your own fucking whip.
Yeah. Well, no, they blow it on. They blow it on the women. Is what I'm saying. That's where it all goes. I used to work with them, and I'd spend my whole life hanging out with these people, and I'd watch how they would spend their profits, and it's just down the toilet, man.
Oh yeah.
It's a sad life. And the dealers were some of the most sad characters I ever encountered because everybody around them is a fake friend, and everybody's just salivating, waiting for them to pull it out and party for free.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, that is so true, Boston. That is, and for myself, 3 separate times I quit, officially retired out of the game.
Yeah.
And the first time it hit me really hard, it was devastating. It was like, holy shit, man. Like there's nobody left all of a sudden.
The phone stops.
Yeah. And the second time I thought I was ready for it, and I wasn't. Right. It was years later. I had that experience under my belt. I thought I was ready for it, and I was not ready for that at all. And then the third time, whatever, I was done. But even then, and people have been talking about that in sobriety, you know, for 100 years. You know, you want to see who your friends are, quit drinking. Same goes with getting high, right? But this time I was very much prepared for that, and I was looking forward to making some new friends.
Well,
Right?
you know,
So that was the difference this time.
I want to give people a pointer. If you're going to get off meth, the number one piece of advice I can give you is you have to detox from the game just as much as you do from the actual drug itself.
Damn straight.
Because it's the sex is a huge deal for a lot of people. The money, the excitement of it all. I mean, it is literally like Die Hard out there. It's absolutely fucking crazy. And people get addicted to the rush of it all, you know?
To the grind.
I was just
talking the game. Yeah, man.
Yeah. I was just you were watching. We were just talking about that with Higgy last night when I was on his thing about the lifestyle. Like, you know, it's like the drugs are one thing, but then you become addicted to the lifestyle, and you gotta detox from that.
Turning a dime into $1 and that rush that goes with that. You know, waking up broke, getting rich by supper, and going to bed broke again, and like that crazy cycle, and you know, right? Like it's yeah. I'd be routinely up $1,000 by supper time, and broke by the time
when I was incarcerated right near the end, when I was about to get out, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how am I going to go stock shelves at Walmart or some shit after this? Like, I mean, my life's going to be boring, is what I thought. And then now I sit in the peace and the silence, and it's absolutely beautiful, man. Like,
damn straight, man.
Chaos.
Damn straight.
Well, I want a lot of people. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead. I was going to ask you a question, Chad, but
okay. I think a lot of people forget how Scarface ends. You know what I mean? Like it's all wonderful.
Chad, your audio's a little messed up right now.
Okay, sure. Let me see. Are we good? Can you hear me?
It's just low. It's just low.
Okay. Let me see what I can do here. Okay. Can you hear me?
Maybe you could yell louder.
Hey, can you hear me now?
That's much better.
But also, like, what you know what I mean? Like the lifestyle is one thing, having your entourage, having the people, having the the life. But at the end of the day, like, first of all, how many old drug addicts do you know? I don't know very many. And at the end of that movie, what happens every time? Like, it makes me laugh when I see these thug type guys running around with Al Pacino on their shirt. Yeah, it's like, really, that's your hero, the guy who totally fucked everything up. You know what I mean? Like, that makes no sense to me. And the other thing too is confusing, serenity with boredom. You know what I mean? When I hear people say I'm bored, it's like, you're not fucking bored, dude. You just don't know how to be in this situation.
Hey,
like, you're calm. There's no chaos.
You're addicted to chaos.
Right. Yeah. What were you going to say, Jarrett?
I was going to ask each one of you a question. Because Chuck was talking about waking up broke, getting rich, and then going to sleep broke. Chad, I'll start with you. At what point how much a day were you spending at your worst?
Oh, geez, at least $200 a day, at least, and probably 2 40 ounces a night as well.
Yeah.
So,
Chuck,
when it was crack, 500, easily.
Yeah.
But a day needs something different. A day could be 72 hours, right? Like if you're going to talk about in between sleep.
I guess.
You know what I mean, right? Like, because it's just when it's a day. What's it?
Okay, 24 hours, a 24-hour period.
24 hours, I would say easily 300, really. Like to be, but it was just constant. It was, if my phone didn't ring every half hour, things were going to get ugly.
Yeah.
Right. Like it was like, hey, when's the next one coming? When's the next one coming? And it was essentially it was a 100% markup.
Yeah.
Right. So for everything I sold, I could smoke.
Right.
And break even. Right.
Babe?
So yeah, I went crazy. On meth, it was a very different thing. I was like a $10 a day habit for me.
Oh yeah. What about you, babe?
I don't even know, because like Chuck said, like I was one of those. Oh, I'm gonna buy for the next couple days, and I'm gonna set these bags aside And it never worked that way.
They're gone.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm only going to spend $40 tonight.
like I worked every single Monday. Near the end of it, I was working at a hotel and they did like in-house, what the fuck is the name of it?
Use your words.
But they printed the checks out there. Like they came in, did our hours, and printed the checks out at work. I worked every single Monday. As soon as my check got handed over, I was scanning it into my app, and my boyfriend was taking money out of the ATM.
Yeah.
Going to get it, and by the time I wouldn't even get off of work yet, and he's bringing me stuff for the week.
You didn't answer the question.
My whole check every Monday,
which was,
and then I'd fucking hustle $300-400.
Yeah,
and then I'd hustle for the rest of the week.
$100 a day.
It never lasted more than a day, though.
But about it, so I'm saying on average, can you making this a hard question, Brianna? Right?
Right? Just answer the dollar amount.
I would say between my check and the money I hustled, it was around $200 a day.
There you go. There you
$10
go.
a bag, you know.
Yeah.
Like Chuck said, it varied with drugs, right? Whatever drug I was doing, like meth, I clearly didn't spend $200 a day, but that was like coke, crack, whatever. Meth was I probably still spent about $100 a day when I was using meth at my peak.
And that's
Some days
Boston answer, and then I got a comment to make on that. Boston, what you never said your daily amount. If you
I was buying a ball a day, so like between 80 and $100. I was getting player prices, man, but it was like I'd say $100 a day. My worst, I had a $4,000 a month drug habit.
Yeah, right. And that is a significant fucking thing, right? And
most people live on that. And that's a good living here.
Yeah,
$100 a month.
I'll before you jump in, Chuck. Mine was 300. That was about mine.
Yeah, right.
And when I go and I do like calculator, like how much I've like saved in the last 5 years, we're all close to $500,000, man.
I remember going off of what Chad said too. Like I wasn't just using fentanyl; I was getting drunk every single day. I was buying cocaine almost every single day. Like it was other stuff, but just the fentanyl was around $200 to $300 a day.
It's crazy, man.
Now, what was your comment, Paul?
Like there's a barter system. I remember being in the taxi and I was saying to myself one time, I haven't paid for anything besides cigarettes and Pepsi in cash in months. Everything ice or trading. It's really weird, you know?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, right? Everyone's got their flail bag full of stuff, right?
Right.
You know, yeah.
When you see a grown man wearing a fanny pack, you know he's a twin.
So what was your comment, Chuck, you were going to make on that?
About the different drugs thing, and maybe this is something that you guys can relate to or not. I don't know, but the thing is about meth, and I've been saying this for much longer than I've been doing it, was that it always starts better and ends worse. So we had people actively moving from crack to meth because of the money they could save. Yeah. Right. I knew one girl in particular who locked herself in a basement for 3 days, right? Said to kick crack and move on to meth because it was like we laughed. I said, as any self-respecting crackhead look at meth and go, that's like a free drug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like compared to like, holy shit, man. Like what?
It's the Geico of the drug world.
Because of
Sorry?
I said it's the Geico of the drug world. You save 15.
Yeah. Right. But it always starts better and ends worse. Right. Yeah. And it's basically crack, coke, you'll be awake for maybe a week. Right. At most a week, but like 2-3 days is pretty normal. Maybe 4 days. Right. Yeah. When you get on to like meth, man, like, I don't know. I went like 11 days.
Yeah.
That was my number, 11 days. And I remember wondering if my body, I was at my job and I was wondering at what point my body was just going to shut off. And I thought, because somebody had just died that I knew, and they had just died because their body just shut down. And I remember that being in my head because I was already in psychosis. And I'm standing there at this factory that I'm working at going, my body's just going to die.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I was, then I went and got some heroin and went to bed.
We are not, man. The real drug is sleep debt. That is the worst of the worst of the worst, is depriving yourself of sleep for 2 weeks at a time. Yeah. Right. Like, and I don't care who you are. Your brain's not meant to do that. You're going to see shit. You're going to hear shit. You're going to start making connections that aren't there. You're going to, yeah. Sorry, Boston, you were saying.
Your water intake.
What with water?
I didn't.
The water I had, I was using to cook crack. And then,
Fucking water.
Mix it with the iced tea and the syringe.
Oh shit! I didn't realize it was on this.
I had it on the wrong one.
Made it weird. There we go.
Awkward.
There is I can't do this.
I have to every now and then. I got to do that shit.
You do. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Oh, do you have a problem, Chuck?
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. No, not at all.
All right.
I think you're awesome.
What else about meth are we talking about?
You know what? We got to do a PSA.
Why are you
bro.
looking at
Oh,
me? I don't know anything
PSA.
about meth. Really.
Yeah,
No, just
PSA. Hold up. PSA.
Yeah.
We got to run this. It's an hour in, and we haven't even ran the PSA.
It's a good thing we're not getting paid for it, right?
Yeah. Well,
Let's have
it'd
a
be
fucking
different if we
executive
got
meeting about that. By the way,
if we got
right?
paid for it. It would. If we got paid for it, it'd be a different story. So
Yeah, well, do your job. Yeah.
what the fuck?
Run the fucking
Yeah,
PSA.
the
Following PSA is brought to you by The Phoenix. The Phoenix is not just a gym, it's a community where the real weight lifted is not just barbells, but hearts, minds, and spirits. Whether you're in recovery or simply choose to live a sober lifestyle, The Phoenix offers a range of activities from yoga to hiking, all led by people who've walked the path of transformation. So why not aim higher with The Phoenix? The first membership requirement is just 48 hours of sobriety. Rise from the ashes and soar with The Phoenix today. Do you know about naloxone, otherwise known as Narcan? This life-saving medication can reverse an opioid overdose in minutes. You might think, I don't need it, I'm not around opioids. But the truth is, you never know when you'll be in a situation where you could save a life. It's easy to use, and in many places offer it for free or at a low cost. So let's be prepared and look out for each other. Remember, you might not plan on being around opioid use, but you never know when it will be around you, and you could save the life of somebody that loves and is loved. I'm Chuck LaFlange with the Ashes to Awesome podcast, and remember, you are loved.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, hey guys, carry
Oh.
naloxone, please. It's free. It's easy to use.
Yeah.
Just carry the damn stuff.
Yeah. Every bag in my house, man. Every bag in my house has a kid in it.
I love that, man. I do.
Yeah.
I do. It's just
No matter which pack I grab, I know I got it. I won't leave my house without it. The epidemic is too huge in this city, man. Too
It is.
huge.
It is. It's all over North America. It's just every city, every person I talk to from every city talks about how bad it is in their city. And
Yes.
you can't take that away. There's no saying it's worse here, it's worse there. You're surrounded by death. You're surrounded in needless,
Yeah.
pointless, absolutely avoidable death. Then it doesn't really matter if it's worse in this city or worse in that city. I don't care.
Look,
what number.
Right.
Chuck, you can't even do drugs anymore.
No,
It-
you can't.
Betty is literally in everything. It's in when it's in the meth, that's a huge bell going off. Like you can't do drugs anymore.
No.
Yeah.
It's not like when we were out there, man. It's completely changed and it's just wild, stupid.
Yeah. You want to get me on that road for a second? I'll talk about this, and it's not a popular topic. Whatever. We got to wait for people to hit rock bottom shit. And I'm sorry, I don't believe in it. I don't buy into it. I think when you were 10 years ago, even more than 5 years ago, if you got sober and you're advising families and stuff to let their people hit rock bottom, their loved ones, then you're doing a disservice because you don't know. It's not the same thing. It never used to be a death sentence the way it is now. We are
Right.
surrounded in death in a way the world has never seen, right? Ever. Outside of war and plague, nothing has ever affected humanity the way that fentanyl is.
100,000 people a year or more have been dead for the last 5 years. That's more than the stadium. It's almost 2 Super Bowl stadiums full every year.
Right? It's crazy.
I think that whole thing regarding rock bottom, I think that's been misrepresented a lot throughout people's interpretation of it because rock bottom, I find for myself, I don't believe tough love works. It didn't work for me. It shoved me down farther every time somebody tried to show me tough love. I think what is meant by rock bottom, like we don't have to let people die. Like that's stupid, right? What we have to do is allow people to get to a point of desperation. I don't believe that.
I disagree with that, though, Chad. Fundamentally, I disagree with that.
Yeah, because to me, that's what it took for me. I know, like it took me.
Right?
You know.
weren't a fentanyl addict right now.
No,
when
that's
every
true.
minute of every day, you are a minute away from dying if you are doing fentanyl right now. Right? So if that means you've got to take the action, you got to reach out to your loved ones.
You do,
Right?
but that's not. Yeah.
Buy fucking wait,
Mhm.
right? And I'm sorry, that's not what you're saying, Chad. I don't mean to misrepresent what you're saying.
No, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this is a healthy conversation.
Yeah.
It's the challenge with it is the way that people. I don't have a problem with people saying you have to. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
If it means mandated treatment, and people, well, that doesn't work. But you're asking insane people to make sane decisions, right? If you talk to somebody who's deep in a fentanyl addiction, the odds of them now coming out of it on their own are very slim. I've been out of the game for 16 months, and I've had way more than 16 friends die in that time.
Yeah. I'm up to around 40. And go ahead,
40
Boston.
years, and I used to be adamantly against plant medicines of all kinds. And the last year, I have completely changed my stance because I'm like, whatever's keeping people alive, if it keeps your heart beating, whatever works, man, get off drugs. Get off the drugs any way you can, because it's Russian roulette right now.
Yeah.
Well, let's take death out of the equation always, right? Like that's first and foremost. However you get clean, however you're going to get clean, I say do it, right? Like I'm not here to, like, I mean, we all know my road that I took, but I would never tell somebody that that's the road for them. If they ask me, I'll gladly share it. You know what I mean? And I'm more than happy to do it. Rock bottom for me is only like people look at rock bottom like it has to be this fucking place where, you know, to me, rock bottom, and a friend of mine said it. He said, rock bottom is when you stop digging.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're right. But see, the problem is, you know, nobody, no matter what, like if we can keep people alive, great. Like fucking let's do it. However, nobody is going to get better 1 minute before they're ready. Right. So what that minute before they're ready, that is the rock bottom. So I totally respect and get what you're saying, Chuck. And you know, I have mad love for you. Right. So, but that 1 second before rock bottom is what they need to be at before they want to get better.
When I get the messages from loved ones, as I often do, is our platform has been directed at the loved ones, right? I say the things, Chad. I say the things. Hey, you got to wait for them. Just be there. Let them know they're loved.
Yeah, 100%.
But then I think
the words.
If it was my kid, right? And I don't have kids, but if it was my niece or my nephew doing fentanyl right now, would I sit around and wait? Would I let them know they're loved? No. Or would I chain them to a fucking pipe in the basement until they were clean and sober enough and well and right in the head enough to make some decisions about whether or not they go to treatment? And I got to be honest, I don't know that I could follow my own advice.
Even as a 12-stepper, I would probably chain my kid to a fence. I'm not lying.
Right.
I don't want my kid dead, and I will take the bullet. I would do whatever I could to save my child.
Of course you would.
But I've also seen
went to a party at 15 years old, took a pill that they thought was something else. It was fentanyl. The kid never came home, and the dealer got 5 years and some probation.
But here's the thing about that whole. This is the divisive one. Punishing the dealers. If it's a street level dealer, the only difference, like if you take an entrepreneur and a drug addict and mix them, you've got a drug dealer. Right. So most dealers are just out there. Instead of stealing, they're selling dope.
They're addicts.
Right. Instead of hooking, they're selling dope. They're just addicts supplying their habit. They're no different than anybody else. Right. When you get up, like when you start moving up the ladder, right, and you get into quantity, when a guy's got a couple ounces or whatever of fentanyl, that guy should do life for every single person. You know what I mean? Like in consecutive, none of this concurrent shit, right? And like really, but street level dealers, to punish them like that and hold them responsible for the deaths, they're just the only difference between them and the kids that died is that they're not stealing or they're not hooking or they're not whatever, right? You know?
I just think it gets hard to decide who deserves to be punished in what way, right? And that's where it all just starts getting messy.
Look,
you know?
They make money off putting us in prison, period.
See, again, that's a very different thing because we don't have private penal system in Canada, right? Like that would that whole incentive is like.
Do you know how much they were getting for me in the institution a day, Chuck? They were getting $1,100 per day.
Fuck, that's crazy, man.
And that's before meds. Okay, they were probably clearing $2,500 after all the scripts. That's why you could never leave the state hospital system in the United States. It's so there was 40 people. It was co-ed on a pod. We had 7 pods at San Antonio. Do the math. It's insane. Multi millions every year.
Yeah. Right. It's crazy, man. It's
Did
crazy.
you guys look into what they did in Portugal, like with legalizing everything?
Oh,
Yeah, and there's mixed results for long term on that, though, right? Like the
Yeah,
initial
there is.
results were fantastic, right?
Yeah, but then it dwindled, right?
It does. And that said, there's an argument that it dwindled because it was working so well. Other fires started to come up, so they had to move funding. So there wasn't as much funding going into that initiative as there used to be. So that's when it started to taper off. That's the counter argument to how it's not as successful, right?
Yeah.
And it's I mean,
I just think we got to
definitely
stop treating addicts like criminals,
like
man.
criminals. Period.
We're not criminals. We're sick.
Yeah.
have y'all
Yeah.
ever heard of the Freeway Ricky Ross scandal, South Central Los Angeles in the 80s, 90s?
Yeah, isn't he the guy that the CIA, right?
The CIA,
he
they were moving
Yeah.
C-30s full of cocaine into the country, and they gave it to this kid. He was 18 years old, and the guy he met, the Connect, was a CIA operative from South America, and they were funding a Contra war in South America, and they enslaved a generation of the Black community, and so many gang deaths and everything, and they admitted it on record. Michael
Been over
wrote
there.
all of it. Crazy.
Yeah, right. So to be punishing people that suffer an addiction, treating them like they're criminals, it's just you create this power imbalance where now this person is feeling shame and is afraid to go to their families, and it's not just the penal systems, it's the healthcare systems, it's the religious institutions, it's the families, it's everybody sitting around pointing fucking fingers when they should be helping. Right. That is the problem. That is the problem, right?
It's like here when they're pushing these people, and like we have an abundance of tent cities in Oshawa, right?
Yes.
There's like 2 or 3 main ones, and they just keep pushing these people farther out of the city, and they just keep not dealing with the problem, and they're treating them like fucking animals. And now these people have developed pretty much their own little society. They've got their own language, their own rules, their own way of life. They'll bite your face off for a fucking sandwich, and they don't care. You know what I mean? They don't care because they've been forced to not be able to care because nobody's showing up for them. You know what I mean? Like we're hiding them. We're not helping anybody. And what to do? Like, no, I don't have this grand plan that I could, even if I had one, it's not anything I could share in a little bit of a live cast, right? But we have there's things that need to be done, and there's plans that need to be put in place. Because even if you get these guys off dope, what are you going to do with them?
Yep.
What I mean? There's a whole. Sorry?
I faced 15 years in prison. Twice I went to treatment and they had no bed for me. I was being thrown out of the local mental institution every 3 days, total danger to myself and others. And they told me twice in a row, they're like, sorry, there's no room for you. And I felt like I had no choice in the richest country on planet Earth. It's a travesty, man.
It really is. It really is. And here's the thing. Dr. Lisa, my weekend co-host on the Weekend Ramble, guys, if you don't listen, check it out. She's a psychiatrist. She has talked about papers that have been written in many countries. This is not an isolated one-off. It's an accepted thing now. Every dollar you put into treatment, you get 6 to 10 back between what you save in the penal system, in the healthcare system, everything. Yeah. Like it's the math. If your concern is the dollar, if you are a hardcore capitalist, and I don't have anything against capitalism, but if you're a hardcore capitalist, all you care about is money, put money into treatment.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's that easy. And because you'll get a massive return on your investment.
New Jersey's about to legalize psilocybin, and they should say, okay, but all the tax proceeds go towards treatment of drug addicts. That's what my opinion is.
That's a great idea.
Fair enough, right? Yeah. Same with the weed tax. I mean, it's supposed to go back into education, whatever state you're in, whatever country you're in. It's
but it should be treatment straight across.
Yeah, right. Like the penal system is a massive draw, right? And every dollar that we pay waste treating these people like they're of a moral failure because they're doing whatever it is that they're forced to do to supply their habit. Those are dollars that could be going into social programs. Those are dollars that could be going into education. Those dollars that could be going into healthcare.
Where's all the programs for them teaching people how to love themselves? Starting when we're children, and dealing with childhood trauma and all this stuff. We should be really targeting that. That's the poisonous roots of addiction, childhood trauma, abandonment, all that stuff. And if they nip that in the bud, there'd probably be a lot less.
Yeah. True story.
Yeah.
Right?
I can't argue with that.
Yeah. Oh my. Hey, geez, look at us go.
Jesus fucking Christ. No, sorry, Chuck. Chuck, check the private chat tab. Anyways, oh my gosh. So Amber Fenner made this long comment. Unfortunately, it cuts off, so I can't read the rest of it. So Amber, if you're on, it cuts off at the people need to have more, and I'm assuming it's going to say accountability. But I wanted to read this real quick. She said, I live in Rhode Island and it's so bad here. We're in between New York and Boston, so it's a well-trafficked area. I'm so uneducated in this area, but want to help the community. I'm in the process of working with some other citizens and putting together a task force for the homeless and addiction community to be able to get them basic necessities and even more crucial, connection. We know that surrounding ourselves with successful people with successful people helps us become successful. People need to have more
access to us. They need connection and to not just know it's possible, but to see it regularly.
Thank you.
There you go.
It just cut off on our end. So, what you think?
I love that, Amber. Should reach out to us at Ash Awesome. Maybe we'll get you on for a show. Maybe we'll get you on to a live feed here next Friday or a Friday coming soon. Who knows, right?
Reach out to me because any way I can help or get involved in that stuff, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Always, right. Even if it's just spreading the word,
and that's why, we're partnering with Hope on Deck, because
that's awesome.
That's what they do,
you guys for doing that. That speaks to everything that you've been talking to me offline about wanted to get into, and I think that's commendable, man. That really makes my heart happy for you.
March 23rd, we're going to Kensington, PA, and we're doing an outreach with them, and we're going to be doing, and then as long as that outreach goes well, we will be a Hope on Deck partner in New York, and we're going to be doing the homeless and helping with harm reduction and all that.
I've been reaching out to a couple people that I know that own businesses or work in realty companies or at the hospitals that I know personally are in recovery. And I've asked them, once we start up here, do you mind collecting supplies?
Yeah.
Collecting donations and stuff like that for us. And they're all on board.
Yeah.
So it's just asking.
Socks, Jared. I don't let your friend volunteer.
Oh, for which friend?
You're one that likes feet.
No. Be over there trying
His hand goes up right away.
I'll be over there trying to smell the
people
homeless
in the back.
Even the homeless would turn away those socks.
Yeah.
They're like, we're good. We're good.
Here, I'll give you a pair of socks if I can come back in a week and take it.
Why do these socks fit like shoes?
But anyways, going back on track, Amber, I think that's a really good idea. It's similar to Hope on Deck and what we're trying to do as well. So you keep doing that. I think the community needs that 100%.
100.
It needs it 100%. So we're at hour 17. So you want to start wrapping?
Yeah, I think so.
We're wrapping up the episode.
Yeah.
Wrapping up the episode.
Oh, okay.
I always love being here, guys.
Guys, we're about to get into daily gratitude. So if you're in the comments and you got something that you want to share with us for some daily gratitude, go ahead and post it up in there.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to my favorite part of the show. That is the daily gratitudes. Brianna, let's start with you. Chivalry is not dead. Ladies should go first. And even though you're not a guest, you are a lady, and that goes first. So let's do that.
Well, thanks. I'm grateful for not being an asshole anymore. I'm an asshole still, but just in a different way.
To me,
I'm aware of it. That's it. Just grateful for not being rude and nasty to people
That's
for
awesome.
no reason.
Jared, not to you. Just
That was it.
don't make it about you. Don't make somebody else's gratitude about you. Okay? All right. Now to our esteemed guests, if you will. Boston, let's start with you because we're Canadian and that's what we do over here. So, yeah.
I'm grateful for my relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ today. I'm grateful for my sanity and my freedom, man. Those are the three big ones in my life.
Those are wonderful. Yeah. Chad, what you got?
I'm grateful for being invited back tonight. I'm grateful for the people in my life that have never given up on me. I'm grateful for God. I'm grateful for my recovery. I'm grateful to be teachable today. I'm grateful to be an honest man and a man of integrity. And that's what I got.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Jared.
I am grateful for the people that I have met through this platform. I won't say like names, but specifically, there's been a few that have been on the podcast, and we've
I'm here. You can say me because I'm right here.
yeah, we've developed this. It's just like
attitude about me after saying not to do that.
yeah, fuck. It's just like you find a like a brother type hood, and it's like, you know, all from having somebody come on the podcast, and then you're texting every day, and then it's like, listen, like, you need anything, I got your back. Like, so it's just be able to have those type of people in my life as like a mentor, as well as, you know, support and whatnot. So I'm grateful, and this platform allows for us to meet a lot of people like that.
Sure does. Eh? Sure does. I'm going to echo that one from you, Jared.
AKA, he's grateful for you, Chuck.
Yeah.
Well, that goes two ways. So that goes two ways. It's
Romance.
crazy. And I'm grateful to our guests as well. And as I am all the time, through these different platforms and different content creators, I've spoken to this a few times. I'm so thankful that we now have a network of people that spans the world.
Yes.
There's literally nowhere in the world where you are that we can't, if I can't find somebody through my platform, that maybe Boston can, maybe Jared can, who knows, right? Like there's that it maybe one of the other dozens of content creators that we work with are able to find a connection, and it's all just like a message away, because that's the internet, and I'm thankful for the internet for that, right?
Mhm.
I'm also thankful for Sunny. I'm so thankful for Sunny every week. He just completes me. Check him out, guys. Sunny in a sidecar. I am very, very thankful to every single person who continues to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things at the bottom that you know you're supposed to do. Every time you do any one of these things, you're getting us a little bit closer to living our best lives. Our best lives are to make a humble living, spreading the message. The message is this: if you're in active addiction right now, today could be that day. Today could be the day that you start a lifelong journey. Reach out to a friend, reach out to a family member, call into detox, go to a meeting, pray, go to church. I don't care. Do whatever it is you have to do to get the journey started, because it is so much better than the alternative. And if you have a loved one who's suffering in addiction right now, you've just taken the time to listen to our episode here. If you just take one more minute out of your day and text that person, let them know they're loved. Use the words,
You are
loved.
that little glimmer of hope just might be the thing that brings them back.